We would like to take this opportunity to recognize the validity of the protests going on throughout the United States and the world, advocating for greater equality and justice for all people at risk. We want to affirm that love is love, that Black Lives Matter, and trans rights are human rights. If I might, I will leave you with a poem. Something is terribly wrong if the pain, sorrow, and outrage of a people makes you more uncomfortable than murder itself. By Rupi Kaur. And now, on with the show. Warning. Fortune and Strife features subjects which can be uncomfortable for a general audience, such as the use of drugs and alcohol, poor treatment of people of different classes or cultures, adult situations, psychological trauma, and violence. Listener discretion advised. Welcome to Fortune and Strife. I'm Robert, or Bayushi Shinichi, and I'll be your host and narrator.
I am Jeanne, and I am playing Doji Gen.
I am Tyler, and I am playing Akoto Richi.
I'm Tiff, and I'm playing Kuni Yui.
I am Paul, and I'm playing Shoshiro Bisho.
All right, so where we left off with our characters, they had just brought Mariko and Ryuji to the river in the Uebi Marches. That Inari had come floating on a giant turtle with a pair of messengers. Two kitsunes that you have seen. One that has been visiting you for the last few days, and one new one who's seems to be whose territory you had stumbled into when trying to find this place. Then they guided you here, and everyone said their goodbyes, with Gon giving off his bag of scrolls, his scroll satchel, to Ryuji to read to Mariko and teach her the ways of a Shugenja and to remember who her grandfather was. And the rest of you had left letters to send off, usually with a little memento, a poem here, a picture there. And in the moment that they were to cross over into Chikshudo with Inari, that a image of a woman kind of wreathed in energy, in indistinct form, kind of swirled around Mariko when they stepped atop the turtle. And then the figure coalesced more and more into a distinct shape and took on the features of Kaguya. And Ryuji just spoke her name once, just in awe that he saw his wife again. And then, in a brilliant instant flash, she took on the full regal raiment of an outfit, and she was Kaguya reborn, it seemed. And then they disappeared, and Ryuji, Seiji, Mariko, and the form of Kaguya are gone. And now the giant turtle is another box turtle that could fit in the palm of your hand. And next to them, to it, floating in the river, is a naked woman, drenched completely head to toe, next to a sopping wet fox. And that is where we find ourselves. This woman looking around blankly, staring around, wondering what had happened. The fox next to her, just completely drenched to the bone, and now no longer bearing the markings of a messenger of the gods.
Gen rubs her eyes.
Yeah, no, this is, to the best of your knowledge, this is happening. Your friend is gone, and this strange woman is just bare in the water. Just luckily, her hair covering her self, giving her some form of modesty here. And then she just kind of thrashes at the water and starts kind of just this frustrated just cry comes out of her. Like, what has happened? Get me out of this water.
Richi rushes forward to do so.
And yeah, you help this woman out. She is a woman, seems to be in her late 30s, early 40s, long dark hair, but one you've never seen before.
Gen removes her Harry and hands it to the woman to start.
She quickly covers herself with the outer jacket, and it's definitely enough to hopefully cover her and give her some protection from the chill that's gonna waft over her now that she's drenched wet. and the fox messenger kind of comes climbing out of the river and gives itself a very thorough shake.
Yui just laughs at this. Like, oh man, this sort of thing never ends, does it? Welcome to the craziness that is our lives. Who might you be?
Do not laugh and mock me. I have heard your cries and denouncements of us. This is not something that you should take pleasure in.
What denounce? What? I don't understand.
I'm not mocking. I'm not even taking pleasure in this. That is. Have you never heard of nervous laughter or even such a thing as not knowing what's going on and the ridiculousness of it all?
She kind of starts to stand up taller with this very imperious look on her face, and then it just kind of drops and she slumps her shoulders and she says, "No, I've never felt that way. Why do I feel this way?" And yeah, she starts just like she's not looking at anyone. She's kind of gazing off into the distance like she's trying to remember something or think of something, and it's not coming to her.
Maybe when Ryuji and Mariko went to Chixudo, maybe you fell out of Chixudo.
How could I fall out of Chixudo? I was already here.
No, maybe you forgot.
No, I specifically remember coming here to take your friend and his daughter to Chixudo, that this was the punishment for your audacious act, and that I would not bear to this embarrassment. Your concession to me ruled this.
Gen's jaw drops at that, and she goes very pale.
So,
but she kind of says the words, like she's still not totally sure of them.
what did you say your name was again?
My name is Inari, Kami of the rice and of the harvest, of the sword maker and the shopkeep. At least I was. I am. I don't know. She reaches over to her messenger fox and kind of strokes its hair, and that's when she notices that it no longer bears the red markings on its brow. And oh, my poor thing, what has happened? Why are you not shown? This is not good. No. Why am I here? And then she turns and she goes back to the water's edge and she kind of coaxes out the turtle and takes it up into the outreached palms of her hands and picks up, and you've been turned back to such a tiny form. She kind of just not sobbing, but definitely a kind of a quivering, shuddering, silent just fit kind of comes over her for a moment before she stills herself again.
Would you like to sit down for a bit?
Yes, I think I'd like that.
Gen finds a driest like branch or log, someplace to sit on. Clears it off.
We might still have the cart nearby.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
the cart's nearby, yeah.
Sit on the, dry. Clears out a place in the cart for her to sit down.
And so she takes a seat next to Gon, who has done his best to, if you had provided him some sort of futon or pillow to kind of ride in the cart with, he has moved aside as much as he can to let her sit down on it or next to it, and he is just in silent awe of this whole situation.
And Richu will go to his traveling pack and pull out a spare set of traveling clothes and just kind of drapes it over Inari, just as some sort of modesty.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, no, she's kind of now, like you say, covered in using your kimono as a blanket of sorts as she sits in the cart with her turtle on her lap.
I look around. God, if Bisha were here, he's a Gansan,
Uh,
Gansama.
yes,
You
yes.
are a Shigenja. She gestures at everything. I'm just a courtier. What happened here?
Um, well, the best I can tell is that these marshes are where water and land meet, and it is a place that is connected to the realms beside, to Senko. And I, besides that, I don't know. It seemed that Inari used her powers as a fortune to manifest a gateway, a pathway between the realms, and then it looked like my daughter appeared to soothe Mariko. It's the first time I heard her cry, and then this. Then it stopped. I don't know much more than that. Just what I saw, what you saw. I could try to reach out to the spirits and see what might have happened.
Gon shrugs.
I mean, we could also just ask, hey, Inari.
Yes.
So what's going on here?
Well, one, you should address me as Inari-sama, but I will forgive your impertinence at this moment since I am drenched and bereft of my regalia and sitting in the Nox cart. No, the old man is right. I had come to collect what was duly mine, and past that, I'm not sure what happened. I saw and felt a presence make a transition between the veil of the realms, and the next thing I know, I've been stripped of my very essence and clothes and my mind. It feels like my messenger no longer bears my marks. My faithful turtle who guides me through the waters is now reduced back down to the size of my palm. I do not know. And not knowing is something I'm not accustomed to.
Well, it does seem as though you are Inari-sama. Well, what is your plan then? If this happens here now and you're here with us, what does that mean? And more accurately, or more importantly, what do you want to do about it?
I wish for you all to find me another portal to Shikshido and return me to my home.
All right. This makes as much sense as anything else today. I think I can research that. Would you like to wait here to see if this opens up, or should we return to the shrine first? I mean, it might open up in 24 hours.
Shrine will be fine. I don't believe it'll open again. I have already attempted about a half dozen times. I do not know why I cannot travel freely between the realms at this point.
Shrine seems like a good idea. Like, of all the people, they would probably know if something was going on with you. Plus, more people who can contact and maybe, find out what's going on. Because, if you were sent here against your will, Inari, usually one would expect to be sent with a note or something.
You would think that they would have said something, but no, it was quite unceremonious when I was dumped into the river.
Well, before we return to the shrine, we need to decide. Sorry. Again, it's like shaking her head and trying not to laugh because that would be rude, but it's still very strange to her. You will need to decide if you wish it to become known that you are in this condition, or you wish for us to keep it secret from the shrine keeper troopers and others. They are your followers, but they also rely on their faith. So, yeah. What do you want to do about that?
Yeah, that seems like an interesting argument to make for a skeptic, and I think I'm going to go ahead and activate your disadvantage there and give you 3 strife as you try your best to stifle the laughter at this whole situation, but also taking the consideration of others' faith into account for all this, and gain a void point.
All right.
Yeah. She sits there and thinks for a moment, like it almost seemed like she was about to speak just immediately, like, and just discount it out of hand. But as you kind of finished your thought, she thinks for a moment and she sets the turtle down next to Gan, who just kind of looks at it in just awe and kind of tries to make a little nest or so for it out of one of the blankets that was near him for the cart ride. And she hops off and she kind of motions for you all to turn around, and she starts to dress herself into Ricci's traveling clothes. And she says, "Perhaps you are right. Perhaps I should not be known that I am in such a sorry state. What name do you think I should go by then?" And she kind of pulls on the kimono and ties it around herself and slips on Gen's Howery over Ricci's traveling clothes. Well, go on. What? Give me a name.
I mean, we could just call you like Richan. I don't think anyone would suspect that.
How about just no? She's kind of definitely.
How about
biting her
Sen?
tongue at this at the moment. Oh, say again.
How about Sen?
Sen will be fine.
As a OOC aside, Sen means, depending on the kanji you use, of course, can mean either destination or former. And I like the
that's a good play.
Yeah.
That.
So it's both where you are going and where you are coming from. So
or 1,000,
right?
Or 1,000. So and she is of the 10,000 fortune. So between all of it, I think that's probably a good one.
Yeah, no, I think that's wonderful. And she nods. There's a fine name. And she climbs back into the back of the cart and kneels down, takes on her kind of seisan, and reaches back out for the turtle and rests it in her lap. Very well, then. Lead on, then. Why don't you guide us to the shrine of mine?
Gen goes up to the front and mounts on Heart of Oak. And says, "Man, Bisho is going to laugh about this."
As Ricci mounts up on his horse, looks over again and says, "I don't think he's going to be that happy about this."
Yui looks at the fox that is hanging out with us still.
Yeah.
Was also in the river?
The one of the foxes is kind of conversing with the other one. The one that was on land that had guided you in is beside the sopping wet one who is shaken off, and they seem to be discussing something amongst themselves.
I'm going to walk over to their discussion and kind of squat on the ground next to them and be like, "Hey, what are we talking about?"
And the one who guided you here, "What do you think we're talking about? Look at us." And yeah, you notice now that the one who had led you in is also missing their markings of a messenger of the gods.
It's a mess.
Yep. I figured.
We cannot open a portal. I cannot just run beneath the log of a tree and appear elsewhere. At least I don't think I can. And I'm not willing to risk it and look a fool in front of everyone else.
Oh, you'll just have to use your feats like everybody else.
I'm too old for that.
Let's get into the cart. Let's go back to the shrine.
Oh, yeah, they'll love you at the shrine. You'll get pampered. So if you guys have also no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Man.
Looks at you just blankly.
Well, I guess we're all in this together then. Even you, Yui says, staring directly at the 2 different colored eyes, fox.
And the guide is just grumbling some more. I never should have given you all free range to travel through my lands. Look at this mess.
Hey, I didn't know this was going to happen. Who could have predicted?
Yes, who could have predicted that this would happen? This is all your fault. And the fox kind of just very grumpily trots over to the cart and hops up and curls up next to Inari, but it doesn't like lay against her. It's kind of looking away from her and some of the others. It's a very grumpy fox.
Before the fox that is Bisho's, Sencho, whatever, heads back to the cart too, before I head back, you will turn him. So, are you stuck like this?
I don't know yet. I'm not going to suddenly turn into Bisho in front of everyone.
No. I didn't, well, okay, that makes this even more entertaining. All right. Do you want to ride in the cart too?
Yeah.
Okay. You want me to carry you there?
Yes.
Okay. Come here. Like, hold my arms out and carry the currently fluffy version of Bisho to the cart.
Slightly damp and a little extra floofy. And you set the fox down and make your way up to the front of the ox cart with Ricci, and you all start heading back to the shrine. Gan is in the back there doing his best to entertain his guest, but also showing a overabundance of deference to the lady beside him. But yes, he fills the time as best he can with the best small talk he can, talking about the weather and how it's a shame about the haze, and then he has to bow his head and flush bright red, realizing that it is a bit of his fault about why there is such a haze in the air, that his Yojimbo had caused such distress, and kind of stops talking for a while after that. It's not long until you guys arrive back at the shrine around midday, and you all unload, and the shrine keeper comes out and says, "So you saw your friends off then?"
Yes, we saw our friends off. I have a little bit of research I need to do before we move on. Could we trouble you for just a little bit longer before we move on?
He's looking at you, Kenzo, is like, I mean, I suppose so. I'm planning to have some visitors, and I see you brought another guest with you, but will you be staying tonight?
I look at the others.
Maybe, probably not. Hopefully not, honestly. Hopefully this will be quick. But hey, look, we brought foxes.
And the two Miko start to kind of squeal and run forward to meet the foxes.
Careful, they're still damp.
Yeah, the one is, and they're like, "Oh, what happened to you?" And they're kind of just petting it, and they are talking about, "Oh, we could dry you off. We can go find ourselves a towel." And yeah, they go running off to go and pamper and play with the foxes.
Okay. So, if we can stop and get some lunch, Gen is going to bury herself in her notes and, just sit aside for her memories for a little bit. And she is trying to call upon her past education and her Fukurokujin's blessing to figure out where one would go to study to find out where there might be another door to Chikshudo or some other way to get Inari back where she belongs.
All right. So, yeah, Fukurokujin's blessing gives you always know the nearest location in which to undertake research of a given subject and can complete the research in half the time it would take another character. So, with that, you would think that the closest, best place to do that research is not terribly far. It is outside the Suzume lands, but to the north at the lands of the Kitsune family of the Fox clan, near the Kitsune Mori. It has long been known that the Kitsune Mori is thought to be, people say haunted, but to the Fox clan, they consider it to be blessed by having many pathways to between Senko, Chikudo, and the realm of animals, and Sakuku. Its kind of companion land of animals as well. The two realms that vie for control of Senko.
Okay. Do my travel papers allow me to be able to go to Fox Clan, or do we have to figure something out?
No, you probably had to travel through their lands or at least skirt by them to kind of come down through here. So your paper should allow you to travel to the lands of the Fox just fine. They've also had good relations with the Crane over the years. So yeah, things should be good. You're not Scorpion, so yeah, they shouldn't have any problems with you.
Excellent.
Yeah, what about the lion?
Yeah, the lion are not the best neighbors to have in the world, and luckily they're south of the Spine of the World Mountains. But your papers also kind of brought you along a similar path to Gen's, and they could allow you to travel into Foxlands if need be. But they would probably have a few more questions for you.
Yeah, that's understandable.
If you wanted to do a little bit more research and go a little farther afield, there is, of course, the Kitsu. The Soden Senzo are known to be able to not just travel between the realms, but they explore them extensively and have been known to draw their powers into Ningendo and kind of overlap the two realms at once for a period of time.
That would take some fun travel papers, so let's start with the ones we've got travel papers for.
There you go. Although your travel papers also take you through Lion Lands. They allowed you to travel through Baden Pass to get here.
Okay.
And you've got a connection.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a connection.
Yep, you had to get through both these areas. So yes, the closest would be to Foxlands, and the fact that the Kitsune Mori is considered to be itself a rather large interconnected web of pathways to Chikudo and Sakuku. Yes, if you wanted probably the best, though, the Kitsu are definitely some of the most established and renowned explorers of the several realms, of all the realms, not just Chikudo.
That's great. Well, we should probably find Bisho and decide whether or not he's going to come back with us. And we may need to stop by the village to get some Zori and some supplies for Sen-sama.
Do we want to... Sama? That might be confusing for other people.
She kind of raises her head and gives her hair a bit of a shake. No, Sen-sama sounds correct to me.
All right, sure. As long as no one else questions it. I mean, it's if you don't have a blade or anything, it's going to look like we're, showing reverence to a Ronin.
Then find me one.
Or we just, they can question all they want, but as long as we have the presence, they shouldn't bother us.
Sure. But there's also the fact that Sen-sama, you are here for likely a reason. And maybe the idea is you have to do things the way we do things. And if that's the case, maybe you have to follow our rules.
However, getting a blade is not an issue. I don't think that Seiji's using his right now.
Oh.
That is true. His armor and blades are here. It was very difficult for him to carry those in his current form.
So, okay. We do have an outfit for you and armor. And if we can get that to fit you, that's probably better since, there's mortal forms are really squishy and prone to error.
Very well. Come, let us have you arm me.
I'd be happy to.
And yeah, so the two of you go on into the shrine, into the room that Gon was using earlier, and yeah, she just is sitting there and is just like, all right, now dress me, and is just waiting for you to just completely, attend to her and fit her with Seji's set of armor.
Well, no one can put on armor by themselves, so you will, in fact, assist with putting and doing all the ties and all that stuff as well. Just sort of like cannot hide the smile on her face on this because this is just absolutely ridiculous.
And she's not as bad as trying to dress a toddler, but she's not making it easy. She has clearly never been in armor or anything like that. Doesn't know quite how you want her arm to be for this or that while you're tying things, and she just gets in the way a lot of the time.
I will definitely, in those moments, take the time to be like, no, hold still. Nope, no, stop bending that arm. Stop it. You can't. If you bend it, I can't tie it right. Do you want the circulation to be in your hands or no?
Yes. Fine. Here.
Then hold still. Okay.
Very good.
All right.
And yeah.
How do you feel?
It is tighter than I thought it might.
Mm-hmm. And hard to move around in, but knocks on some of the harder pieces of it. You can't get stabbed in the squishy bits. Well, it's harder to get stabbed with the squishy bits.
I feel like my turtle.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't wear this amount of armor, but I have my own ways. But we got to make sure you are well protected. And now that you're here,
yes,
in our world, and especially now at your own shrine, do you feel anything? Anything coming to you? Any connections, or is it all just the same?
She kind of gives that look like she's trying to remember things, like looking up and off to the side. Nothing. And not knowing is uncomfortable.
Well, now you know what it's like for us. Which is a new thing. You couldn't have known this before. New perspectives.
Frustrating. How can you go about and act without knowing the consequences?
You do your best. It's like rolling dice or making bets.
All right, then. Well, now that this is on, let us see the swords. And she kind of fumbles around with them a little bit and
leave them in the sheath.
Upside down. Well, no, inside the sheath, but just trying to get it into the belt. And she winds up kind of with the edge pointing downward at first, and kind of got to turn it over for her. And eventually, she's now armed and armored. As awkward as she is in it, she at least now, as long as she doesn't move around a whole lot, you think could hopefully pass as a samurai.
Was Seiji's wakizashi tied up in that way what some phoenixes are, where there's like knots around the sheath, so it's hard to get out?
The peace knot, yes.
Good. We will take note of that. Oh, yeah. You know what? Leave that there. Don't bother trying to untie this one. I don't.
I wouldn't want to lose it.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. I wouldn't want you to lose fingers. So, okay. All right. Well, I'll be right back. And Yui's gonna go look for Show.
Let's go ahead and head over to Ricci and Gen. What are the two of you up to while Yui was upstairs spending the next, say, 20 minutes or so, maybe even a little longer, getting Sin armored up?
I think that Gen has been in a bit of a discussion with Ricci about how, the road to Foxlands and whether or not we have travel papers, and how to present this, and whether if we should stop at the village and if we'll encounter something at the village. Just getting his ideas about what would happen.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm afraid of, is that we're traveling around with this person of great import, and one, she doesn't have any papers. So getting across any kind of clan lines is going to be insanely difficult. 2, are we really arming her? I mean, yeah, I would feel better if we only gave her Seiji's Wakizashi. Because if we give her the katana, then she might be expected to use it at some point.
Well, we've got travel papers, technically.
Well, they don't cover her, though.
They cover Seiji.
She's not Seiji, though.
Depends on whether her helmet's on or not.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
You're not proposing forging papers, are you?
Oh, Lord, no. No. Let's not go there. But I mean, surely we don't have to lie about it, but surely we can just explain some of the situation. Not necessarily like everything, but there's got to be some sort of leeway that we can use. I mean, I don't really want to cause a clan incident if I don't have to.
How do you propose to explain this even in a little bit?
I mean, if it would take a little bit of convincing on Sen-sama's part, but if we could convince her to drop the sama, she would just look like everyone else. But the fact that we're having to address her as such might be the one that causes more suspicion than anything else.
I don't think that might not be an issue, because we could just not speak to her directly around other people. But I was thinking maybe Asawa Gan might have the authority to create travel papers or modify travel papers for her, as part of his own authority that he came down here on. So that's something.
He is a daimyo, so he would have that, I guess, that legal implications there. So yeah, she should be able to. That's actually a good point.
So I mean, it's not great, but it may be that even Seiji doesn't have his own travel papers. He's a science, walking under the authority of Gon, and then Gon could be sending him out. Let us ask Gon-sama if he has the ability to create some travel papers for her. And
yeah,
that should save some problems.
So you go and you find Gon, who is sitting inside the shrine, kind of away from the smoke and the sun, and you kind of broach the topic to him. Yeah, I believe I could write some travel papers for Sen.
That would make things that much easier to cross lands.
I'd have to meet with the magistrate to get their seal on it. I don't have just the authorization to make it myself. You need to have a magistrate sign off on it, but
we could always head back to the village for Yoichi.
Yeah, we could always just speak with Yoichi about this. He respected my son-in-law quite a bit, and well, hopefully that he will sign off on this between us.
That sounds like a decent plan going forward. And then you could stay. Will you be all right without Yojimbo traveling north to the Phoenix Lands, Gansama? Or I know you are still pretty badly hurt.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I will be traveling back north immediately. I think I might send some letters to the council before that. Send off for my nephews if I need to. But I also might stay and pay back a bit of a penance and keep Ryuji's home ready for them in case they return in 6 months. But I guess it would be less than that, only to winter, only about a month and a half. A month and some change, actually, at that. The first snow might take longer to fall here than it does in the lands of the Asawa. Takes some getting used to being this far south, but
it seems wise not to travel so much.
In my condition, no. If I can pass on, anoint my nephews as my Hatamoto in my stead, for the winter. I think I might stay here for the season.
That sounds wise.
So yes, so long as we can get his magic to sign off on it, I believe I can vouch for this woman, and we can get her some travel papers written up. We'll have to tell him a story, of course, but he seems to be one who likes a good story.
Oh, he'll love it.
Yeah, so again, I'm sure he would love it even more if we could tell him the truth, but we'll have to spin him some sort of yarn, and something that is captivating enough for him to buy, or at least to want to believe.
I think that we can keep what's in the letters we have already written mostly intact. If we need, you have an interest in making sure your son-in-law and Mariko would be safe in Chiksudo, would you not?
I would hope so.
This seems like a worthy topic of research, even without what had happened to Inari-sama, to find out more about Chiksudo and find out if your son-in-law would be safe and Mariko. So is that not sufficient cause to send one of your followers with us to learn more about Chiksudo?
I think that's fine. It's more just trying to describe why I have a second Yojimbo and how they have come to have lost their travel papers and whatnot. I think spinning the tale that this is someone on an errand for me to help you with the research in either the Fox Clan or the Lion Clan lands is believable, but it's the selling them on the part of why this servant of mine has just appeared without their own identification. So we need to tell them a story that he'll believe on that end. And he gets a little animated and then realizes, oh, I still have like 12 stitches in my back. And he kind of reaches back and starts to kind of twitch himself over to the side a little bit. Forgive me, I got a little. You did a fine job, but sometimes I have to remind myself that even when I'm feeling better, I'm not fully recovered yet. But
yeah, just give it a few more days and it'll be fine.
That would be a blessing, but I think it might be weeks still before I'm really able to move about and travel like I used to.
Well, and it's a good thing that you were going just one place and kind of sticking there for a little bit then.
All right then. So, what's the story then? We will pan over to where Bisho has been before. Well, he was getting dried off by the Miko and all that good stuff through some bit of trickery or just with being a wiggly fox, runs off and finds themselves at least a secluded spot to hopefully have some privacy in which to experiment with their form.
Yeah, Bisho right now is kind of in a place. They're relieved that they can actually talk right now. With the whole Inari going all human and such, that freaked him out a lot. And right now, Bisho feels pretty vulnerable and just doesn't know what to do. It's one of those situations where, oh wow, the boss just got taken down. How far down am I? So yeah.
So you stretch out and your paws start to become hands, and your face, your nose kind of goes from a snout back down to a nose, and your whiskers retract into your face, and you brush your hands over your head, and your ears flop down and hide behind your hair, and your hair flows down long behind your back, and there you are.
Bisho's not really sure what form they have just taken, and they're going to try to find a pond isn't there a fountain in the front of the shrine?
Yes, if you got to the front of the shrine, there is a koi pond out there.
Bisho's going to go to that, and look to see who they are right now, because they just were trying to think, okay, I need to be human. Let's do this. I gotta just turn into a human. And they look down at the reflection. And it's a face they haven't seen for a long time. It's very feminine. It has full makeup on. The hair has it's probably just starting to form into buns and trinkets, and it's the very first human form Bisho has ever taken, and they right now look like a geisha with a very fancy kimono on, with long sleeves, makeup, hair all done up, and yeah, just a very, very pretty face looks back from the koi pond.
But before your face pulls away from the koi pond, you hear a small voice. Oh, Aiko-kun, there you are. It's been so long since I've seen you. And it's the voice of a woman you haven't heard for years. And just over your shoulder is the image of Bayushi Megumi with her head tilted at an unsettling angle, just smiling adoringly at you with her head just crooked to the side, just in a completely uncomfortable fashion.
Hi, Megumi-kun.
You haven't taken this form in so long. She, cold, pale hand starts to caress your cheek and shoulder. I haven't seen you don this much since, well, the day before we were supposed to get married.
At the moment, Bisho doesn't know exactly what to say and kind of forgot about some of the attachments that come with some of the forms that they have. And just this half, like, it's a smile, but it's a very shaken and worried smile that just wraps on Bisho's face.
So, go on.
Well, yeah, Bisho does not know what to say at the moment. They're a little caught off guard.
Oh, of course. No, seeing a woman that you haven't seen for a couple hundred years, and especially in this form, she kind of drifts back away from you, and she, with great effort, seems to lift her head, and then it just falls over in this just lopsided, kind of floppy, broken doll kind of way. And she says, "You haven't mentioned my outfit yet." And you see that she is floating before you in full wedding regalia.
I've forgotten how beautiful and striking you were in that.
Well, how would you know? You never showed up.
But you do visit me every so often.
I'll always find you.
Yes.
We're bound together forever, my Aiko.
Okay. Well, I happen to be in a situation right now.
Oh, but we're at a shrine and everything, and I was hoping this might be the day.
No, not yet.
And her lower jaw starts to grow out, and her mouth just takes on grows to about 4 times its size, like a snake opening its mouth, and these nasty feral teeth grow out of her mouth. I've waited for so long.
God, not this again. Yes, you have waited, but we have a long time to wait. Megumi, please, there's something happening, and it's not good.
It's not that other woman, is it?
If you consider Inari another woman, then maybe?
She is not Inari. Why are you lying to me? She is another woman, isn't she? And she starts to kind of like soar towards the shrine.
Oh,
You have a moment to helpfully reach back out to her, to distract her, to make her focus on something else.
Megumi, I need to find my shamisen.
And almost comically, the face warps back to her own, and her eyes just go wide and beaming. You'll play for me again?
I always think of you when I do play. It's just right now, I had to set it somewhere and I need to find it.
Well, go. I'll wait.
Okay. And Bisho tries to remember because he Bisho legitimately like does stash their stuff in places because Fox form, he can't really carry like daisho and umbrellas or anything like that. There are no pockets. It's so annoying. Next Fox form, they need to make pockets for it. Anyways, Bisho starts going around the Inari shrine looking for their stuff.
Okay. Are you going to shift form from Eiko to Bisho at any point?
At the moment, I think Bisho is a little too distracted with what's going on with Megumi suddenly showing up. And so there's like basically geisha wandering around the Inari shrines.
Yeah. All right. So I like that. So we'll go ahead and pick up there with Kuniyui looking around for Bisho and running into instead wonderfully made up geisha Eiko.
Hello. You just like looking around, but also like keeps coming back to being confused as to a geisha is suddenly here, I guess.
It's Yui, it's me.
Do you she'll look to see if the eyes are the dual color thing?
Oh yeah, no. That's the tell. You know how to find it. You've spotted it in many forms now. And now you get an inkling of something in the back of your head. But it's not important right now. But what's important is that this is Bisho.
Weird deja vu feeling. Okay. All right, good. Different form is good.
I wasn't sure if I could even switch back. So I just this was the first form that I thought of and ever had.
Well, it works. I mean, however you'd like to present yourself, honestly. There's less current baggage associated with it. What do I call you now?
Well, I was Eiko in this form, but if it's less confusing, you can call me Bisho right now.
I'll try Eiko because I think it'd be more confusing if I call you Bisho in front of other people.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, let's go with Eiko. So Eiko, I'm looking for Bisho. Where is Bisho? What's the story there?
Well, Bisho is such a scoundrel that they always put their stuff in bushes. And right now, Bisho really needs that shamisen that they always play.
Okay. Guess I can help you look for it.
I'm not sure where I actually put it. I mean, Bisho actually put it.
Who knows? I guess we'll find out. What a scoundrel that Bisho. Yui's definitely still like off guard by this definitely different person with a definitely different voice and definitely different everything. Who is and is not Bisho?
Also, I have an ex here. I'm not sure if everyone will be able to see her, but she really wants to hear that shamisen.
An ex
lover
of Bisho's?
No. You live 400 years. You tend to get
Bisho's lover, Zencho's lover, Aiko's lover. I just want to know what we're working with here and how and why this person showed up also.
Well, I forgot a little something when I put on this form is there's a woman who became awfully obsessed with me, and I unfortunately was young and too stupid to notice the signs, and well, I promised that we would get married, and then there was some awkwardness with things, and one thing led to another, and well, she now haunts me.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
So you got a naughty ghost following you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And
there are ways to deal with that.
Well, yes, but first, let's find that all the gear. It's well, my umbrella gets lonely sometimes, and I hate when it starts running off. Anyways,
yeah, is your umbrella also haunted? You know what? It's fine. Let's go. Yeah, I'll just help you look while we, I guess, discuss what the plan is going forward. I'm just so confused and somewhat amused that now you have to deal with the problems like we have to deal with them too. And all these things I said before. This is interesting. All right, yeah. Shamisen. Why in a bush? Like, won't that ruin the strings?
Well, keep it underneath some things. It's a complicated system. I have to do it every time I turn into, I have no pockets.
You should at least get a backpack or something.
I can't find one in that size. Well, I guess for the bigger form, but I can't.
Like a nice little woven bamboo thing. Like, it shouldn't be that bad.
You're right. But anyways, yeah, let's look.
Yes.
I'm Robert, Orbayashi Shinichi, your host and narrator. Thank you once again for listening. Remember to catch new episodes every Monday, and if you want to catch them early or are looking for more bonus content, please consider becoming a supporting member of the Patreon at patreon.com/CourtGames. To reach out to us, email the show at fortuneandstrife@gmail.com.
I'm Tiff, and I played Kuniyui. You can also find us on the web at courtgamespod.com, Facebook and Instagram under Fortune and Strife, and Twitter at L5RFNS.
I am Tyler, and I've been playing Akoto Ricci. You can find me on Twitter or on Twitch as CourtGames.
I'm Paul, and I was playing Shishiro Bisho. If you want to follow my other projects, I am the GM of 2 LGBT+ podcasts, Tales of Swordfall at Swordfall D&D for D&D 5e, and Gates of Orchid and Iris at GOIL5R for L5R 5e.
This was Jeanne, aka Kakita Kaori, and also known as, at least today, Doji Gen. If you like, you can also find me on the CourtGames RPG podcast, at the Winter Garden of the Kakita website, or check out The Table Is Yours for fiction readings of the FFG stories.
This has been Fortune and Strife, a Court Games production in association with the Rokugani Historical Society.